Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you had an amazing new year and getting everything going in for the 2018. When I was thinking, okay, we got to really come at it in January. We got to come at it with some good people, get some people motivated, get some things done. I'm sitting there going, man, I got to get Damon and Eddy on here. I had kind of a whole different plan for this week, and then I saw Damon's podcast, and I changed that, and I said, that's it. I sent Damon a text. I said, hey, I got to come see you tomorrow morning.
Right.
And I don't know how I got in, but I did. He let me in.
Dude, I'm a last minute kind of guy. Like if you tell me appointment like a week out or 2 weeks, I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm totally last minute. Kind of that in a relationship, right? When your wife says, do you want to go to dinner next Friday? You're like, no, maybe.
I don't know.
Hit me up Friday at 5 o'clock and we'll go. So.
Right. Nice. Well, thank you so much for letting me come in and hang out with you for a little bit and talked about these things. So, introduce yourself. Some people know who you are. Let me just tell you real quick. I'm gonna make it real quick because Damon has kind of jumped in. It was one of my coaches last year. I got a ton from you and different things that I implemented into my business career, into my life. So for me, this is huge to have Damon on, passing the positive. So with that said, thank you very much. And then introduce yourself.
I appreciate it. I've been married 20 years, have 4 kids. That's really my foundation, man, is my marriage, in my spirituality, my kids, being a dad. I have a real estate team, been in the business, gosh, I think about 12 years now. I seem to always say 10.
Yeah.
But I think it's been about 12.
It's easy to go to 10,
10. It's like staying the same age for a long period of time. We just keep staying the same age. Exactly. I'm going to be 45 now for the past 5 years. But I have a real estate team. We do residential real estate in Colorado, and then we just opened up this office that we're in now. I partnered to open up Madison and Company's 5th office here in Brighton.
Yeah, which is an awesome office. If you guys are ever up in this Brighton area, come check it out because it's easy just to walk in and kind of get a good view of old school with new design. It's awesome in here.
Yeah.
So, well, nice man. So let's kind of get after a little bit. Ask you a few questions and share with some of these guys. First thing is, man, how do you stay motivated? You've got a lot of things you work on. You've got your podcast, you've got your mindset minutes, you're running, this office, with Anthony. How do you stay motivated when you have all those things?
I don't think I have a choice.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think there's so much responsibility when you're married, when you have kids, other people rely on you. There's no choice. You have to stay motivated. The mindset is such a crazy thing. So it's amazing. Throughout the day, I literally have to work on this.
Yeah.
In the car, listen to podcasts, listening to motivational videos, whatever it may be, reading in the morning, getting, all these things. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You really don't have a choice. Life I talk about all the time is hard enough. But if you don't have this right and you're not getting that mind right every single day, it'll eat you up.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's, mama doesn't let me slide at home, right?
Yeah.
You have to be that man for her. You have to be that father for the kids. You really don't have a choice. You can either not be motivated,
right,
or you can work on being motivated, and that's a much better alternative.
Yeah, I'll take the motivated alternative. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah,
one of the things I also love that what you kind of shared with us there is that you get your mindset ready in several different ways. You use the podcast, the books. The cool thing I hope you guys get from that is there's so many different ways to do that, right? You can do those things. It doesn't have to just be one. It can be all three. It could be many different ways, but find what's best for you and make it work.
Man, you got to use what's best for you.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways, and we talk about that. I work with a lot of men that want to work on their spirituality, and they say, well, I need to pray, I need to spend more time with God. Well, I'm like, well, what works for you?
Right? Yeah.
One way of praying may not work for another individual. What works for you? Where do you got to go? Where do you got to be? What environment do you have to be? Certain things, right? For me, if I want to go, and get close to God or give thanks, I love to be outside on a walk. The windier it is, the colder it is. I put on some headphones. I get a little beanie, you can barely see my face, and I get out there. Yeah. And that's the way that works for me. Different things, reading in the car. There's so many different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
But you just got to make the choice to do it.
No, I love it. Love it.
Got to find out what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, you've been successful in my eyes and in a lot of other people's eyes. You've done amazing things. When you got to the point in your life where you started feeling kind of that success, what were maybe and we maybe just touched on some of them, but what was the daily, weekly, monthly activities that you had to put in place to balance it all and really get after that?
I think what really changed for me was, I think about 10 years ago, when somebody came to sell a seminar package to go see a speaker called Chris Widener. He wrote a book called The 12 Pillars. And that's when I went to the seminar, and he really started talking about the things that my college athletic coach used to talk about setting goals, looking at those goals every single day, identifying the tasks that you need to get done in order for those goals to be achieved. And I remember, when it was 10, 11 years ago, just not feeling that I was living up to my full potential, right?
Yeah.
So it's when I went to that seminar, I said, you know what, kind of like enough is enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, financially strapped. I don't like the stress that causes on my family. I don't like to be able to do what it is that I want to do when I want to do it. And I think at that point is where I went to that seminar. I said, you know what? I'm going to actually start writing goals down like I did as a college athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, why do we change? We set goals, in our sports and different things, but yet we don't set life goals. We don't try. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that was a big change. I went there. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get serious every single year. If there's a certain income I want to make, I'm going to write it down what that goal is, and I'm going to look at it every single day.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it. And my first little goal sheet that I had in the office in my basement was like a little white sheet of paper. I put the number on there, like just scribbled it in. I have like the worst writing too. And I did like a little bar graph every month, where I need to be.
Where you're at, yeah, I love it.
And I've just kept doing that ever since, but expanding to who it is you want to be as a husband, what's your vision, what do you want to be as a parent, your health, everything like that. So I think that was a big change, like getting serious. So, I'm actually going to write down my goals, write down the vision for my life, and go from there.
And actually follow it, right?
And
That's
follow
the key.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I mean, a lot of us grow up playing sports, doing whatever it might be. We have our visions, our goals, and we're pretty successful at those things when we're forced to be on it on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. Why do we get away from that? That's the question. And like you said, we just stay with it, stay with on that focus and that consistency, and it should be good. Right. We all go through big pivotal moments in our lives, and I know I've heard a few of yours. What was kind of that big moment in your life that maybe got you headed in the right direction?
Gosh, man, I would say it was maybe that 10 years ago when I went to that seminar.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because that's really what started me on that personal growth.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And you learn so much now, like in my kids, of the importance of that. Right? Yeah. Because I think so much as parents, we say, you got to go to college, you got to get a good education, this and that. I mean, what's in that? I went to college, to be honest with you, dude, I don't even remember going to class. I mean,
typical true college student right there.
I mean, hopefully my kids, they'll probably, I don't know if they're going to watch this or not, but seriously, I don't know that I've used anything that I learned from college.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember going my last semester or year because I was towards the end, and I'm kind of like, well, maybe I can finish strong, right? Maybe I get above a 3.0 or something. But it's what you learn outside of college, and I think it really was that seminar, that growth, understanding, and getting good books and reading great books. It's just crazy. I think it's that Jim Rohn has that quote: "Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune."
Wow, yeah, that's awesome.
And it's true. What we learn outside of school is makes the biggest difference. So that's the same as that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I going to those things and having those big moments, and when you realize that, hey, this is what needs to happen.
Right.
I hope that we all have those, and I hope you guys have had them so you can focus and get better at those things in 2018. But it's just recognizing that moment, right? And how you can say, yes, this is my moment. I got to move from there.
Well, a lot of times it comes from being disgusted with yourself.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I know that's a tough word, but when people get to the point where like enough is enough, and you're just disgusted.
Yeah.
You're not living up to your full potential, and stuff should be different, and you're just like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
It's way too hard. So to get to that point, and sometimes you got to get to that point, right?
Yeah, you do.
Sometimes you have to work it. You have to spend time alone, whatever it may be. You're like, you know what? Let me really evaluate where I am in life.
Yeah.
Let me look self-evaluate where you actually are and what you've been doing wrong, and then get kind of a little disgusted, get pissed off. I'm the kind of guy that I have to get angry, like when I'm working out and different things like that. You know, I'm the kind of guy, I got to talk smack to myself.
Right.
And I like when people talk smack to me. So it's getting to that point of disgusting where I'm just disgusted. I'm going to change. I'm going to do something different. And that's enough, you know?
No, I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's awesome. You know, we all have those big, impactful people in our lives that make a difference in our lives, make, you know, whatever that change might be.
Mm-hmm.
Who was maybe that person, maybe two people that made a real big impact on your life and kind of helped guide you?
Man, dude, that's a good question. So I grew up in a broken home. So my parents divorced when I was 5.
Right.
Never really had a great relationship with my dad. Still, it's kind of an interesting relationship. My mom, I think, was married 4 or 5 other times. Right, a lot of guys in and out of the house. I was an only child too, so I didn't have a brother or sister, you know, to kind of hang with or chill with.
Right.
So as far as people that made a big impact in my life, man, dude, it's so interesting. We talk about mentors, and if I look at mentors, and mentor doesn't have to mean that you know that person,
Right, absolutely.
you know, one-on-one. It could be a person that it's a person that you learn and you grow from. So I think if I just look at the different books and the different authors, like Jim Rohn, not R-O-M-E, but R-O-H-N,
Right, yeah.
not the sports guy. You know, different people, the books, you know, Darren Hardy, John Maxwell. I know we both listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
You know, I think it's pulling from other people that are genuine, that are real, that are successful. You know, I definitely have some great friends.
Yeah.
I have some great friends that I can go to
Yep.
when I need to. But yeah, as far as pivotal people, I just kind of seek them out online and podcasts and authors and things like that. You know,
No, I think that's huge, man. I think that everyone can relate to that because everyone can go do that, right? Everyone doesn't have to have that one person in their life. They can go find out who that person's going to be and who's going to make that impact on their life based on their message that is good for their particular life and things that they're trying to drive towards. So I think that's huge because everybody that is listening to this or watching this can relate to that or make that, implement that to their lives.
Right. You can find that. There's no excuse.
Right.
There's no excuse to say, well, you know, I didn't have a dad or I didn't have a mom or I didn't have somebody there for me to help me, you know, move. Or There's so much online. There's so much great people if you just, you know, seek them out. There's so many incredible books that you can read that you can get in and you get to know the author. I mean, it's tremendous.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. There's no excuse whatsoever. You know, so yeah.
No, I think that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's great. Give us one good practice we could try to implement in our lives as we get started in 2018 and trying to get on the right path to do things and get where we want to go. What's one best practice that you feel that everyone can implement to their lives?
I would say start the day or finish the day before it starts.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
Finish the day before it starts. So what that means to me is plan your day out the night before. Or you can do it the morning, whatever. But before you get going in the day, you need to figure out the most important activities that you need to get done in the day in the most important areas of your life. Or you can call it the non-negotiables, the things that you need to do no matter what. Yeah. Right? I think that's what happens at the end of the day. People are unhappy because they've let the minor things take away from the major things.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
There's not 1,000 things you need to do in your marriage.
Right.
There's usually about one thing that you need to do for your spouse or that spouse wants from you.
Yeah.
Now, there may seem like 1,000 things because you got no freaking clue, right? And you're doing the wrong things. You're like, oh my gosh, my wife is never satisfied. Well, because you're doing the wrong things or you're not doing the right things. You know, there's not 1,000 things that you need to do to be successful in your business. Yep. Right? There's usually about 1 to 3 things that move the needle the most. In your health, there's not 1,000 things, right? A lot of us is not putting fast food in your body. Right. And maybe exercising 20 minutes a day. I don't know. It's not that confusing. Yeah. You know, so I think what it is finishing your day before it starts. Plan it out. Write it down on a piece of paper. You have to write it down. This is my journal right here. We didn't mean for the bang, but I have a journal right here. I write down everything. Yeah. And then I just check, make sure I get it done. Now, that doesn't mean I don't get it done every single day, right? Right. But at the end of the day, when I cash out or I review my day, I can look and I say, well, this is what I needed to do as a father. I didn't get it done today. Like one of my things is to discipline softly.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
if the kids, I got 4 kids, and you know how it is, right? The kids, sometimes you're like, and you may blow up, right? I don't know. And I can look at that at the end of the day and I say, nope, I can't check that off, but I'm aware of it, right? The next day I can write it down, discipline, teach softly, and hopefully I check it off the next day.
No, that's awesome.
So write everything down, write down your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I think you guys, that is a huge key that helped me within this last year. I when I met with Damon, he said, look, you got to have your day page, got to have your things written down. I've implemented that within my work and within, the employees that I have. That is a huge deal to be able to know, okay, did I get what needed to be done today done? Put that down at the beginning of the day, or like you said, the night before. So whatever, if you know your mornings are crazy, then do it the night before.
Right.
If you know you can do it in the morning, then fine, do it in the morning. But start your
You
day.
got to get it down.
Finish your day
It's
before it
clarity,
starts.
man. It gives you clarity.
Yeah.
It gives you direction. We talk about that. I tell you about that story, that styrofoam cup. I heard it somewhere. It's like you're in the parking lot of Walmart or Target. There's no cars. You're like in the back parking lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a windy day. And you see like a styrofoam cup and some trash, and the wind's blowing. It's going this way, that way, this way, that way.
Right.
And then it ends up in the corner with the other trash and the other styrofoam cup.
Right.
Now I don't want to I'm not calling other people a certain way, but what I'm saying is, if you don't have direction in your life, if you don't know what it is you're actually trying to achieve, you'll get blown back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But if you know exactly what it is that you're trying to be and what it is you need to do, then it doesn't matter, man. Life can hit you in all different directions, but you're taking care of the most important things.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So,
you guys, I hope you got a ton out of that. I did personally. I grow every single week when I meet with these guys. When I get the opportunity to have breakfast and meet with Damon, I learn every single time.
Are we having breakfast?
We should probably need to get after that. It's about that time. But
let's go get an omelet.
That's right. Thanks for plugging in. Hey, pass the positive all year. This is episode number 1 of this year, number 8 overall. We got 51 more coming, so stay plugged in. I'll get you guys the information on how to plug in the Damon and his podcast and everything he has going on, so you can utilize that and get motivated every single day. So we love you. Have a great day.
Good.
Stay positive. We'll see you later.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye.